Hello friends and welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're going to make honey garlic steak bites. So what you see on my counter is what we're going to use to make this. It's really an easy process, but it has such an amazing flavor. And there's not that much going into it. You're going to need at least a pound of some kind of beef. I suggest looking for whatever you think is going to be easy to cut up, and it's not going to be too tough for this mix because we don't really want a tough beef in here. Just look for what's on sale and just judge from there, because I know that beef is expensive. But anyway, besides this, we have some onion, we have some honey, we have some soy sauce and some seasonings and some minced garlic, and really not a lot else. There's just some oil to cook it in. So we're going to cut up some onion. We need at least 1/4 of a cup of onion. So cut it up, make it into small pieces. We don't want huge hunks. We don't want anything that's going to cause, like big pieces to stick together. We just want to break it up really well. So just go ahead and run across it with your knife until this is really minced up really well. And then once you're done, we're going to actually set this to the side and move on to the beef in just a second, because we want to cut up the beef before we get going with anything else in this. So like I said, you need a pound of beef. And what you're going to do with this, basically, I cut it across the middle and then I slice across the long way. So that way it's just basically strips. And my strips are not really thick. They're kind of like, medium to thinner. If you wanted to do this some other way, you're perfectly welcome. If you want cubes or whatever, or, it's up to you. I just like doing the strip pieces. They're not huge, which is good. But it's just one of those things where it's just appealing to me. So it's personal preference. So if you want to change and go another route on it, go for it. Just go ahead and cut this up into pieces. Make sure they're just none of them enormous. So cut your way through the whole stack of the meat here. And then afterwards, just check it to see if any of the pieces are super large, because we really don't want to go that route. And if you have something that's super large, just cut it in half or whatever. And then after this, we're going to move all of this beef into a large bowl, because we're going to mix up kind of like a marinade for it. So go ahead, put your beef in, and then we're going to add multiple things to this. And the first thing is 1/3 of a cup of soy sauce. Once you get that in there, next we're bringing in 1/4 of a cup of honey. Now, if you are using a container, putting the honey to the side before you use it, if you spray it with some non-stick cooking spray, it'll come out a lot easier. Somebody tipped me off on that a long time ago. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And then when you get the honey in there, we're going to add a few more things to this. So we're going to use about 1½ tablespoons of minced garlic. Put that into the mix. And then we're going to add some seasonings, because we're going to add 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And we're going to dump this right in. And then we're going to stir this all up, because we want to make sure that the seasonings and the flavors all mix throughout this beef for a while before we actually use it. So what you need to do is stir it up, mix it all together, put a piece of plastic over top of it just to make sure you got some plastic wrap on it, and put it in the refrigerator. I would leave this for a minimal of 30 minutes, but if you've got time, leave it in the refrigerator for about an hour, just so you can actually get all of this flavor in there, and it really kicks with when you're eating it. You're just going to taste it more the more it marinates. So in a large skillet, we're going to add anywhere from 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil, and we're going to bring in the onion that we cut up, because we want to cook this to maybe 4 to 5 minutes, to a point where it's softened up, it's getting translucent. And yes, it would cook if you put it in with the beef anyway. I just want to do this a little ahead of time, because sometimes it's one of those things where I don't like biting into onion that isn't cooked all the way, and sometimes you'll have a couple pieces that don't do that. So I just cook it a little before I start doing anything else. So we're going to do this on a medium heat, maybe medium high heat, and just get this going and make sure that it is cooked. So you're going to do this for, like I said, 5 minutes at least, and then after that we're going to add the beef into it. So go ahead and just mix this up. And once it starts to cook, once you get the oil all over these onions, they're going to cook pretty decently. So 5 minutes, and then after you get them really cooked, we're going to bring in all the beef, but not all of the marinade. because we don't want to add a lot of liquid to this. We just want to kind of put in enough to coat everything a bit. But we will use some of the marinade after that to actually add to the pan. So basically move your onions to the side and bring these in a few at a time, and you have to use like a slotted spoon, go for it, so that way you're not dragging in a ton of the liquid. And once this is in here, we want to cook the meat for at least, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes on the one side. And then we're going to go ahead and flip it over and start cooking it on the other, because we want to basically sear this one side first. Just to let you know, when you're doing this, you have a choice of how done you want the beef. If you like medium, then go for medium beef here. If you like yours a little more on the pink side and, you know, not very cooked, it's all in how much you want to do it. But if you do it at least a couple minutes, 3 minutes on each side, it's not overcooked. I wanted mine to be medium, so I'm going to literally go longer on it. It's just what I do. It doesn't mean you have to do it. You can do it however you want. Now, once this is in here, just bring a little bit of the marinade and just like put it around. So that way, if it's in the middle of the pan, you know, you start stirring these around and mixing them, they're going to get coated with some more of it. Because we're not trying to like totally fry these hard, because, you know, there is honey in here and that will burn it. So just go ahead, cook these. It's already been a couple minutes here. I'm flipping mine over a bit as I'm going. You just want to make sure that you get it cooked for 2 to 3 minutes per side, minimal. And then after that, if you really want it longer, you let it go longer. But you need to keep flipping these a bit after you go past the time frame, just to make sure that you're not burning the honey on the one side. So mine is doing really well. I'm continuing to flip them, because like I said, I want mine about medium. And just keep working with it until you get this completely flipped over. And you can tell when these are really done. So if you're somebody who doesn't like any blood in the beef, then watch it, flip it, cook it out. And as you go through, you're going to get these totally done. And the good thing is the onions are really cooked to this point. Your garlic is really cooked to this point. All your seasonings have worked in here, and everything is amazing. If you wanted a little bit more of your marinade in here, you could put a little in and cook it for a couple minutes just to give it more flavor. It's not necessary though, because this is loaded with flavor when it's done. And when you get it to a point where you're really happy with this, I suggest turning the heat off, let it start to cool down just for, you know, a couple minutes, and use a slotted spoon so you don't get a lot of juice you don't want, or any of the marinade in the bottom here that you really don't want to get. And once you do this, you can move it off to your plate, and you could serve this just as is, or you could put it on rice, or however you want to do it. But it has such an amazing taste from like the honey and the garlic and everything else. And it's just one of those things where, you know, I didn't used to cook with soy sauce, but now I see the benefit of how good it tastes when you put it on beef. It just has an amazing taste. And when this is all done and all cooked up, this is such an amazing thing to give to someone for a meal, because it looks like you put a lot of effort into something that tastes this good. And mine looked amazing on the plate, and it tastes even better. And I think you just might like this. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you get a chance, check out the Southern Mountain Kitchen website, where you can get a free recipe, check out the cookbooks available from the Southern Mountain Kitchen, and if you'd like to, you could order a cookbook at a discounted price, cheaper than Amazon, with shipping that is also cheaper than Amazon. So if you get a chance, check it out, and I hope you have a great day.